सखी सद्गुरु घर आए, आज सखी सद्गुरु घर आए। मेरे मन आनंद भयोरी, आज सखी, आज सखी, आज सखी। दर्शन से सब पाप विनाशे, दर्शन से सब पाप विनाशे। दुख दरिदर सब दूर गयो री, दर्शन से सब पाप विनाशे। दुख दरिदर सब दूर गयो री। अमृत वचन सुनत तम नाशो, अमृत वचन सुनत तम नाशो। घट भीतर प्रभु पायलियोरी, आज सखी सद्गुरु घर आए। मेरे मन आनंद भयोरी, आज सखी, आज सखी, आज सखी। जन्म जन्म के संशय टूटे, जन्म जन्म के संशय टूटे। भव भय ताप मिटाय गयो री। ब्रह्मानंद दास दासन को, ब्रह्मानंद दास दासन को। चरण कमल लिपटाय रख्यो री, आज सखी सद्गुरु घर आए। मेरे मन आनंद भयोरी, आज सखी, आज सखी, आज सखी।
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यांतं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै. How many of you are listening to this chapter, 12th chapter, Bhakti Yoga, for the first time? Okay. How many of you have already listened? Okay. Right. This chapter called Bhakti Yoga is a sadhana related chapter. It is meant for spiritual seekers, for sadhakas. So therefore, we must first know who is a sadhaka. When do you qualify to become a sadhaka? Because otherwise this chapter is meaningless. If you are not a sadhaka, this chapter is of no use. This chapter is not for money making or pleasure seeking. So therefore, before we start this chapter, we have to clearly understand who a sadhaka is. So in order to know who a sadhaka is, we have to give a little introduction. Each one of us in life, we have a philosophy of life. What do you mean by philosophy of life? Each one of us, we have gone through the experiences in life. Every moment we go through experiences in life, and through those experiences we come to certain conclusion. And based on this conclusion, we make a philosophy. Philosophy means what is that which gives happiness in life. That is called philosophy. Each individual, according to our nature, according to our background, according to our abilities, we have certain philosophy. What is philosophy? What gives happiness in life? So therefore, now we will start seeing some of the philosophies and how a human being evolves, and slowly how he constantly changes his philosophy and upgrades his philosophy as a matter of evolution, as he evolves. So the first we will take about a Tamasic person. Who is a Tamasic person? Right. Now remember, everyone, each one of these categories, these people have observed life, experienced, and out of those experiences they are coming with some conclusion. Now this Tamasic person has observed life, and now he comes to the conclusion that sleep gives happiness. Is it fine? Yes, it is our experience that whenever I sleep, I get happiness. So therefore, a Tamasic person comes to this conclusion: if you want happiness, sleep more. Right? If you want happiness, you must sleep more. And once you have exhausted your sleep, then only come out of bed. Right. Number two, he has observed that whenever some responsibility comes to me, I am disturbed. Responsibilities make me disturbed. So therefore, what is the conclusion? Never take up any responsibility. Right? Now remember, he has analyzed life. He has analyzed life. He has, to some extent, though superficially, according to his experiences, he is coming to this conclusion: sleep more and more, take no responsibilities. Don't work, because whenever there is work, there is effort, there is tiredness. So tiredness is not something which is acceptable. So therefore, if you don't want to get tired, what you must do? You must not work. This is the third conclusion. Whenever he found that he was working hard, he became tired. So therefore, to remain fresh, what one must do? Don't work. From his level, he is right. But now, this mother nature is highly intelligent. He will not allow that person to remain there. He will not allow any one of us to get stuck. So therefore, this mother nature has given something that is called hunger and thirst, which will never allow a person to remain idle, to remain lazy. When this pangs of hunger calls from within, he cannot remain in his bed, he cannot remain idle, so he goes to the next stage. We will call it Rajasically Tamasic. Because of hunger, now for hunger, what is the medicine? Food is the medicine. Now no one will give you food just like that. So to get food, what you must do? You have to work. From work you get money, from money you get food. So therefore, just because of this problem called hunger and thirst, he goes out for work. Now his philosophy remains the same. Now we are talking of Tamasic person only, not yet into Rajasically Tamasic. We are talking of the first stage, Tamasic. So now this person, what is his philosophy? No work is happiness. So therefore, when will he work? He will work only when the boss is around. When there is no boss, he will idle away his time, because that is his philosophy, right? Now will he do his work properly? He will not do his work properly. There won't be any efficiency, there won't be any perfection, right? Now he starts observing the world. What does he observe? He observes that life can be a little more better if I get a little more money, if I eat a little more tastier food, if I can sleep on a little more softer bed, if I can have a bigger house, then my life can be more happier. He observes. So therefore, he finds out that yes, little more work, little more money, and my life can be a little more happier. Right? So now he goes into Rajasically Tamasic. Rajasically Tamasic means tamas predominant rajas. Slowly he is evolving now. So he start putting more work so that he will get some money, and in the future when he becomes old, he has sufficient money to relax. Even now his philosophy is the same. What is that? Relaxation is happiness. So he works a little more. And little more work means what? Little more money. And then he again observes life. And he finds that whoever is rich, they are seeming to enjoy life more. Big palatial buildings, cars, servants, and the respect the society gives to a rich man, he observes. And so he comes to this conclusion that money is happiness. Yes? So now, earlier he was Rajasically Tamasic, now he becomes Tamasically Rajasic. Tamasically Rajasic means what? Rajas predominant tamas. Rajas is more, tamas is slowly going away. Now he becomes very active. Now according to his equation, what is happiness? Money is happiness. Now remember, he has observed the society and now he has come to this conclusion. Money is happiness. Now what kind of work will he do? Now since money is the highest priority in his life, naturally he will use any means to earn wealth. Because he is seeing that even corrupt politicians are enjoying life. So therefore it doesn't matter how you earn wealth. What matters is whether you have earned wealth or not. More wealth, more status in the society. you will get better alliance also, marriage alliance, if you are rich, isn't it? Big people will respect you. You will have lot of servants to take care of you, and all this is nothing but happiness. So therefore, now he sticks on to it. By hook or crook, he starts earning wealth. What is this stage called? Tamasically Rajasic. A tamasic person always doesn't mind to hurt others for one's own benefit. Tamasically Rajasic. Yes. So now he uses all kinds of corrupt means to earn wealth, illegal means, unlawful means. And now, yes, he has amassed a lot of wealth and naturally a lot of respect also. But someday he is caught, because that is the law of nature. The law of nature is, as you sow, so shall you reap. So now he has cheated many people. He has used corrupt means to gain wealth. So naturally someday or the other he has to be caught. And when he is caught, now because he has been famous, rich, etc., his name comes in the front sheet of the newspaper, that such a person has been put into jail. Lot of what you call dishonor, humiliation. Now at last he enters into jail. So what is the state of mind? He is miserable. A person who is highly respected in the society, when suddenly he is showered with abuses, then the pain is much more. A person who is unknown, receiving insult is easy. But a person who has gained respect, receiving insults is very painful. So now in the jail, he suffers. And slowly his philosophy takes a new turn. Earlier, what was his philosophy? Money is happiness. Now he corrects a little. Clean money is happiness. Right? Money alone is happiness, no doubt, but at the same time, the money has to be gained through right means. So now he evolves into the next stage called Rajasic stage. What are the stages? Tamasic, Rajasically Tamasic, Tamasically Rajasic, Rajasic. Now he is Rajasic. Rajasic means what? He is ready to put forth any effort, but in the right direction. No doubt for money. Now his work has got a quality now. The best. He starts putting forth effort as best as he can in the rightful means. He brings out products which are of very high quality. He is very competitive, brings out the best. And then what happens? He again reaches the same state. Highly efficient, highly productive, highly successful, having good name and fame in the society. He again reaches that state. Not only he, but his wife, his children, everyone looking at father. The children also take up the same line. Now he has attained good money, name, fame, everything, whatever he can even think of. But now, when he looks within, he finds certain kind of hollowness. He starts feeling that I have attained everything. My philosophy was clean money is happiness, but when I look within, I have everything. I have money, I have name and fame, I have everything, but still I am not feeling that kind of fulfillment. This stage has to come. He is not able to find out the reason why he is not happy. So one day what happens? By chance his friend comes to his house, equally rich. And this person, the Rajasic person, shares his problems with him. See, I am not very happy. I am little disturbed. I don't know why. So then this friend says, come on, do one thing, come with me. So this friend takes this Rajasic person to an orphanage. And in the orphanage, what do they see? There are little children, no food to eat, no clothes to wear. They're all put in the same room, very unhygienic condition. So then this friend says to him, my dear, you have so much of money. Why don't you give some money, donate some money so that these poor people can live a better life? Anyway, his friend was saying, so therefore he took out a check and wrote a fat sum on it and donated. That night, when he was lying on the bed, he felt a great sense of fulfillment, a great sense of happiness. Now this fulfillment was something which he had never experienced before. He had experienced a sense of joy, but that was a joy which had the flavor of victory, of conquering someone, winning over someone, competing and defeating someone. That was the kind of joy till now he had experienced. But that day he experiences a different kind of joy, a joy born out of giving something. This is a joy which he never had experienced before. And now this joy is much more subtler and much more higher and much more fulfilling in nature. So then slowly he gets into the next stage. What is the next stage? What should be the next stage? Sāttvically Rajasic. Rajasic, but little sattva has been added. Purity has been added. Now his lifestyle changes. What does he do? More and more of his money he starts donating. And when he donates, he feels that kind of fulfillment which he had never experienced before. Recently I had read one incident of one person called Kalyana Sundaram from Madras. A PhD holder, he was a librarian in some college. What he used to do is, whatever income he used to get, he used to donate it for the poor. He would not take even 1 rupee from it. And for his living, he used to work as a servant or something in a hotel, and the hotel used to provide him food. So monthly income, whatever he used to get, he used to give everything to the society. And later on he got pension, big amount, and the whole pension also he donated. And thus this man was later declared as the man of the millennium by some organization in America. Man of the millennium, because he gave everything. And this American organization gave him some 30 crores as man of the millennium award. And this 30 crores also he donated. This is called the joy of giving. There is some joy. His name is Kalyana Sundaram. I got an email. Yes, so now we are talking of this person. Now he has reached the stage of Sāttvically Rajasic. Now what happens when you start doing such selfless service? Your mind becomes more and more pure. The gross mind starts becoming lighter and lighter, purer and purer. And what happens when something becomes lighter? It starts going up. So this gross mind, now it has become light mind, pure mind. Now this mind also starts going up. Mind going up means what? The mind starts entertaining serious questions of life. What are the serious questions of life? Where have I come from? Where will I go after death? What is the purpose of life? Is there something called God? What is my relationship with God, if at all He exists? Why so many people are suffering in this world? If at all such a God exists, why did He create this kind of partiality? Why is He partial? Some are suffering, some are enjoying. These kinds of questions start arising only in a pure mind. Now these questions are there, but he doesn't find a proper answer to these questions. And the nature is designed such a way that whenever you have reached a particular stage, for your further growth, the next stage automatically arrives. This is how the nature is designed. When the child becomes 9 months old, 10 months old inside the womb, what will happen? The womb is so designed that it will push out the child, because the purpose of the womb is over. Now the child has to go out of the womb. The child has to enter into the world. So this is how the whole world is designed. Whatever level you are in, for your next evolution, nature designs itself. Now this person has got lot of questions about life. He is not finding a convincing answer. So then nature itself provides such environment where he gains the knowledge, the right knowledge. And from where does he gain the knowledge? He gains from satsang. This is where satsang comes into picture. And the moment he sees that there is some satsang somewhere, some talk on some scriptures, so these questions from within, it will pull him, it will attract him towards such discourses, such talks. And then he listens to those discourses on such scriptures, because these questions can never be answered in the schools or colleges. Where have I come from? Where will I go after death? Is there existence after death? Is there something called God? What is the purpose of life? Is the purpose of life only what you call studying, getting a job, getting married, producing some children, taking care of their responsibility and dying? That's all. Or is there something higher? Now these questions cannot be answered by the subjects studied in the colleges. In the colleges, we study only materialistic subject, but the scriptures deal with subject. Subject means I. There is only one subject which deals with me, and that is scriptures. All the other subjects which we study in the colleges, they deal with something other than me. What is the only subject which deals with me, which talks about me? Who am I? Which is the only subject which deals with it? The only subject is the scripture, like Bhagavad Gītā or Bible, Quran, etc. Scriptures. So now he listens to these discourses and he comes to know the very purpose of life. All his questions regarding life, they are answered. And now he comes to this conclusion. What is the conclusion? What is the knowledge which he receives from the scriptures? The knowledge he receives is, oh man, you are infinite. You are immortal. You are God himself. You are not different from God. The purpose of life is to know who this God is. The purpose of life is to realize God, is to realize this perfection in you. As a body, you are imperfect. As a mind, you are imperfect. As an intellect, you are imperfect. All your instruments are imperfect, but you are not imperfect. Instruments may be imperfect, but the user of the instrument, which is you, you are perfect. You are infinite. You are immortal. You are of the nature of bliss. You are Sat, Chit, Anand. So then why is that I am not able to experience my perfection? So then the scriptures say you are not able to experience your perfection because of the disturbed mind. Okay, if disturbed mind is the problem, what is the solution? Solution is to quieten the mind. But if quietening the mind is difficult, is there any easy step? Though the scriptures say, disturbed mind, you first purify the mind, then try to quieten, otherwise it will not be quietened. indisciplined, disobedient, untrained or ill-trained mind cannot be quietened. So first purify the mind. And how can purification of mind, how can it take place? It can take place through Karma Yoga, which we are going to see later. Performing actions for the sake of the Lord, for the purity of mind. So this knowledge when he gains, now what is the level in which he is present now? Where is he now? He is at present Rajasically Sāttvic, right? No? Sāttvically Rajasic. Okay. Sāttvically Rajasic. Now he goes to the next stage. What is the next stage? Sāttvically Rajasic. Now he performs action not for gaining anything from the world, not for gaining money, name, fame, etc. Now he performs action for the purification of mind. Because now he has gained the clear understanding of life. Infinite perfection can be gained only when I know myself. The obstruction is the mind, so the solution has to be given to the mind. Problem is not the world, problem is the mind. So therefore, he performs all his action for only one goal. What is the goal? Purification of mind. Then he reaches the next stage. It is Rajasically Sāttvic. He is Rajasic, active. But now what is the purpose of his activity? The purpose of his activity is purity of mind. He performs action for the sake of the Lord. He performs action for the welfare of all. He performs action not for gaining anything in return. Results are secondary for him. Purity of mind is primary for him. He becomes a sadhak. Here only the sadhaka is born. Till here, no sadhaka is born. From here onwards, this chapter is useful. Up to this stage, or rather below this stage, this chapter is of no use. I hope you are clear. Is it clear? Because first the qualification of the student has to be clearly mentioned. Then only the teaching has to be given. So if you find that you are not belonging to this category, you may get up and go. Or maybe tomorrow you need not come. Right? So with this Karma Yoga, his mind becomes very pure. And with that pure mind, he becomes Sāttvic. And now what happens? At the seat of meditation, with such a pure mind, with such a disciplined mind, such an obedient mind. Now tell me, at the seat of meditation, will his mind wander? No. At the seat of meditation, because his mind is so pure, he has a very good control, command over his mind. His mind starts listening to what he says. Earlier, the reverse was the case. He used to listen to his mind, isn't it? Monkey mind. So we used to ride on this monkey mind, and the mind used to decide where to go, wandering mind. These are all the symptoms of indisciplined mind. Now what is the condition? His mind is pure, disciplined, and the mind is just ready to obey him, obey his command. Now he is Sāttvic. So with that mind, at the seat of meditation, he quietens the mind. What does he do to quieten the mind? He just observes the mind. He, the pure consciousness, as pure awareness, he just observes the mind. And when the mind is observed, Manasam tu kim margane krite naiva manasam marga arjava. The moment you start observing your mind, watching your mind, the mind disappears. And what happens when the mind disappears? Mind disappears means thoughts disappear. And when the thoughts disappear, what remains is pure awareness. The the state of perfection or Godhood. One directly, intimately comes to experience his oneness with God. Thus, he goes beyond sattva. Such a person is called gunatita. Sattva, rajas, tamas, they are called gunas. So gunatita he becomes a realized saint or a sage. He attains enlightenment or salvation, etc. Is it clear? So where does the sadhaka, where is he born? He is born at a very later stage. So this study is useless for a tamasic person, for a rajasic person. Why this study is useless? Because as far as a tamasic or a rajasic person is concerned, according to him, happiness lies outside. So as long as your philosophy is that happiness is in the outer world, where will your mind go? The mind will always go outward. You can never bring the mind inward. You can never become introverted. It is not possible. Because your very philosophy says happiness is in the external world. So therefore scriptural studies, of course you may listen, you may understand also, but while practicing as a sadhana, you will find it difficult. Is it clear? Yes. So who is a sadhaka? Sadhaka is the one who has understood that happiness is my true nature. I don't have to gain it from the outer world. And the only obstruction is my mind, so treatment has to be given to my mind. So whenever my mind is disturbed, let me not blame this person or that situation. Because of him I am disturbed. Because of her I am getting angry. Let me not tell this. What will I say? If I am disturbed, I am wrong. If I am disturbed, I have not trained my mind. I am imperfect. Every disturbance of my mind reminds me of my imperfection. If he is not a sadhaka, every disturbance of mind reminds of world's imperfection. The politicians are not good, that's why I am disturbed. The government is not good, that's why I am disturbed. My neighbor is not good, that's why I am disturbed. What does it mean? The sadhaka in him is not yet born. So for such a person, sadhana is impossible. So this is the qualification of a sadhaka. What is the qualification? To recognize that my suffering is because of me. Who is responsible for my suffering? It is not God. It is not my destiny. It is not my prarabdha. It is not some stars. It is not astrologers or astrology. My suffering is created by me alone. And the cause of my suffering is my own mind. Once this is understood convincingly, such a person, where will he put forth effort? He will put forth effort in correcting the mind, training the mind, disciplining the mind. Okay? Yes. So now this chapter called Bhakti Yoga is for sadhakas. How to progress in sadhana, how to deal with the mind, because there are a lot of problems when you start dealing with the mind. So therefore in this chapter Bhagavan gives 5 levels of sadhanas. So Bhagavan says, Arjuna, do this is the best. If you can't do that, go to level number 2 and then go to level number 1. If level number 2 is also difficult, don't worry, go for level number 3. If 3 is also difficult, don't worry, go to level number 4. If 4 is also difficult, don't worry, the lowest level, level number 5. Start from there. So Bhagavan gives hope for everyone. How many of you had attended Karma Yoga till yesterday? Okay. So in Karma Yoga chapter, we had only 2 levels. Which are the 2 levels? Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. Only 2 levels. Now here, those levels are still further classified into sub-levels. Because Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga, the step is little big. So therefore some sub-steps are needed. Like for example in some bus etc., the first step itself is big. So old people find it difficult. So what do? We keep something like this. A small plastic or some stone we keep. So that you climb there and get in. Isn't it? So in the same way, in this chapter you will find a lot of sub-steps. So we will start discussing each step in detail. And remember, these steps are discussed not to rate others. I am level number 3. What about you? Not for that. These steps we are discussing so that we will try to find where we stand and then progress from there. This is the purpose. There are only 20 verses, and in these 20 verses Bhagavan beautifully describes these levels, and in the end he also gives us a test. If you find these changes in you, understand you are progressing. If you find these transformations in you, understand you are progressing. So some test is also given. So it's a beautiful text, a beautiful chapter, a very famous chapter, Bhakti Yoga, and also the smallest chapter in Bhagavad Gītā, other than 15 chapter. 12th and 15, they are the smallest chapters in Bhagavad Gītā. So shall we start? Repeat once. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Atha Dvadashodhyayah. Bhakti Yoga. Arjuna Uvacha. Evam satata yuktaye bhaktastvam paryupasate ye chapyaksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga Tamaha. Together. Evam satata yuktaye bhaktastvam paryupasate ye chapyaksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamaha. Yes. So the chapter begins with a question raised by Arjuna, just like in 3rd chapter. And the pattern of the question is also similar to the 3rd chapter. Arjuna is asking, Bhagavan, between these 2 sadhanas, which one is higher? So he gives 2 sadhanas practiced by various seekers, 2 major sadhanas. And now Arjuna's question is, Bhagavan, which sadhana is better so that I can take the better one? So what are the 2 sadhanas? Evam. Evam means in this way. In this way means in which way? So since we are in the 12th chapter, so naturally it means something has happened in the 11th chapter. So what is the name of the 11th chapter? Vishwa Rupa Darshana Yoga. So Bhagavan shows his Vishwa Rupa Darshana to Arjuna. Meaning, Bhagavan gave a vision to Arjuna for some time, wherein he sees only God everywhere. This Vishwam, this world itself is nothing but God. This kind of vision he gets in the 11th chapter. So, evam, in this way, bhaktaha, those devotees, satata yuktaha, ever engaged, Tvam paryupasate, ever engaged in worshipping you, Bhagavan, I find that in this world there are some devotees who worship you in your Saguna form, as Saguna Brahman, with attributes, with form, etc. I find that some devotees are worshipping you with form, whereas others, yecha api aksharam avyaktam paryupasate. And what about the other seekers? Other seekers, they are not worshipping you with form, they are worshipping you without form, considering you as aksharam, imperishable, considering you as avyaktam, unmanifest, unthinkable, etc. So Bhagavan, they are the two seekers, and both the seekers are seeking you, but the path with which they seek, the path appears to be so different. To give an example, you have Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. How did he worship God? As Divine Mother, as God in a form. That is how his worship was. That idol of Mother Kali itself, he took it as God and started worshipping, and ultimately he reached the Supreme. So he used to sing bhajans, chant mantras, do puja, etc., 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 where the attributes of God are present. God whom he could see, he could feel, he could talk to, etc. This is Saguna Brahma Upasana. So Arjuna's question is, Bhagavan, on one side I see such devotees, on the other side I find some devotees who don't use any support, no idol, etc. What do they do? To give an example, Ramana Maharshi. Whoever used to go to Ramana Maharshi, the only advice he used to give was, inquire who you are, bas. Who you are, all your sufferings will end. So his only sadhana was, just try to know yourself, go within. Try to know the root cause of I. This I am which we experience, try to find the root cause. This is the sadhana which he had prescribed to everyone. Now here you will not find any form or japa, etc., etc. Here it is pure Nirguna Brahma Upasana. Nirguna means attributeless. Now you will find that these two Mahatmas, now this is just an example, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Ramana Maharshi, both of them have attained the Supreme. Now Arjuna's question is, Bhagavan, which path to take? Now his question is important because many times in society we ourselves are confused. Some people take a puja, elaborate puja, that is how they invoke God. Some others do bhajans. Some others, they chant Vedic mantras. Isn't it? Some others, they just sit silent, Vipassana Yoga, etc. They just sit silent and just remain as pure awareness. And others are there who do terrible tapas in the name of spirituality, torturing their bodies. That category also we see. Some become sannyasis. That also we see. So therefore we find that everyone is seeking God, but the paths are different. So naturally, Arjuna is expressing his confusion. Bhagavan, which path is better? So here only two paths are given, broadly classified as Saguna Brahma Upasana and Nirguna Brahma Upasana. Broadly classified into two. God whom we can touch, feel, etc. God whom we cannot do anything. Which is better is the question. So here the term used is Pari Upasate. So therefore Bhagavan Shankaracharya in his commentary gives a beautiful definition of Upasana. What is Upasana? He says, Upasanam nama yatha shastram upasasya arthasya vishayikaranena samipyam upagamya taila dharavat samana pratyaya pravahena dirghakalam yat asanam tad upasanam achakshate. This is the definition of upasana given by Bhagavan Shankaracharya. What does it mean? Upasanam nama. This is upasana. What is upasana? Yatha Shastram. After having studied the scriptures, upasasya arthasya vishayikaranena, understanding thoroughly the scriptures and accordingly comprehending the object of meditation. So, if you want to meditate on something, you must have a clear understanding of the object of meditation. So, how will you get that clarity about the object of meditation? Yatha Shastram, studying the scriptures. Yatha Shastram upasasya arthasya vishayikaranena. And then Samipyam Upagamya. Now that you have a clear understanding about the object of meditation, now you must try to meditate. So when you meditate upon a thing, what happens? Samipyam Upagamya. You start going nearer and nearer to it. As the saying goes, as you think, so you become. As you think, so you become. So what does this upasaka do or sadhaka do? He has this object of meditation, he has gained a clear understanding of the object of meditation, and now he is going nearer to the object of meditation. How? By practicing. How does he practice? Taila dharavat samana pratyaya pravahena. By constantly entertaining thoughts, similar thoughts, not allowing the thoughts to wander away, by constantly, continuously, uninterruptedly entertaining thoughts. How? Taila dharavat, like the flow of taila. Taila means oil. Or sometimes the example given is like ghee, clarified butter. How does it flow? It flows steadily. You will not even know that it is flowing, isn't it? There is a steady flow. There is a continuous flow. There is an uninterrupted flow. Not like water, isn't it? Steady. In the same way, the thoughts must go towards that object of meditation. Samana pratyaya pravaha, meaning similar thoughts, not dissimilar thoughts. Is it so easy? Dirgha kalam yad asanam. It takes time. Yad asanam tad upasanam achakshate. Now have you understood what is upasana or sadhana? So what is the step? First of all, study the scriptures, get an understanding of the object of meditation, and then start entertaining thoughts related to that object continuously without entertaining any other thought. Then over a period of time you develop a kind of single pointedness, concentration. There comes a steady flow of thoughts towards that object of meditation, and it must achieve the state of flow of oil. So steady it must become. In Upadesha Saram, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi calls it as Sarala Chintanam. So in the beginning you will find difficulty. What will happen? If suppose you are meditating for 1 hour, you will find 1 minute the mind goes there, and then everywhere else the mind goes. But slowly as you practice, slowly 1 minute becomes 5 minutes. Then 5 minutes become 10 minutes. At least for 10 minutes you are able to fix your mind there, otherwise it's wandering. And slowly what happens? As the mind becomes purer and purer, mind learns to hold on to that object without slipping down, and it becomes a spontaneous affair. How spontaneously the river flows, in the same way effortlessly the mind starts flowing towards that object of meditation. Bhagavan himself says dirgha kalam, it takes time. This is called upasana, or this is called sadhana. So now here Arjuna is asking Bhagavan, there are 2 types of upasakas. Who are the upasakas? Saguna Brahma upasakas, who meditate on God with form, and Nirguna Brahma upasaka, those who meditate without form. Arjuna's question is, Bhagavan, which is better? Which is higher? So what is your answer? Okay, we will just leave it here so that we can take up the answer tomorrow. Anyway, I will give a hint. Bhagavan says, Arjuna, Saguna Brahma Upasana is better, but Nirguna Brahma Upasaka reach me. You understood? Arjuna, Saguna Brahma Upasakas are great, but Nirguna Brahma Upasakas reach me. What does it mean? It means, Arjuna, you are not fit for Nirguna Brahma Upasana. You are fit for Saguna Brahma Upasana alone. So for you, Saguna Brahma Upasana is better. No doubt, Nirguna is the highest, but you are not fit for it. This discussion we will see tomorrow. Right. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyanto Ma Kaschat Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah